Today we're working on our 11th lesson of a series of 19 on the truth about personal finance, what the Bible and historic academic research say is the best path to God-honoring financial independence. Our guiding verses are from Job 22:21. Submit to God and be at peace with him. In this way, prosperity will come to you. And from Hebrews 11:1, faith is being sure of what you hope for and certain of what you do not see. And from Deuteronomy 8:17 through 18, you may say to yourself, my power and the strength of my hands have produced this wealth for me. But remember the Lord your God, for it is he who gives you the ability to produce wealth. And finally, from Job 21:16, but their prosperity is not in their own hands. I'm Ron Fisher, and I'll be giving today's study. Our study today is having a God-honoring financial plan. Our guiding verses for this particular lesson are Proverbs 16:3. Commit to the Lord whatever you do, and he will establish your plans. And from Isaiah 2:3 and Micah 4:2, he will teach us his ways so that we may walk in his paths. And from Haggai 1:5 and Haggai 1:7, now this is what the Lord Almighty says, give careful thought to your ways. Place God in the heart of your financial plan. From Proverbs 28:26 we read, those who trust in themselves are fools, but those who walk in wisdom are kept safe. And from Psalm 25:4, show me your ways, Lord, teach me your paths. And from Proverbs 3:5 through 6, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all his ways submit to him, and he will make your paths straight. And from Isaiah 5:19, the plan of the Holy One, let it approach, let it come into view, so we may know it. And finally, from Proverbs 16:9, in their hearts, humans plan their course, but the Lord establishes their steps. Work closely with your spouse to design and implement your financial plan. You have 3 members of your financial dream team: you, your spouse, and God. You want all 3 to be on the same page. From Ecclesiastes 4:12, the one may be overpowered, 2 can defend themselves. A cord of 3 strands is not quickly broken. And from Exodus 18:22, they will make your load lighter because they will share it with you. And from Matthew 12:25 and Mark 3:25, Jesus says about working with your spouse and being unified in your financial plan is the only way to success. He says, every household divided against itself will not stand. Know your savings goal. You don't need a specific reason to save, but there are a lot of easy reasons, like an emergency fund, your retirement, your child's college education, a down payment on a home, for buying your next used car, replacing an appliance, or gaining control of your time, just to name a few. Morgan Housel, in The Psychology of Money, Timeless Lessons on Wealth, Greed, and Happiness, writes, Do not aim to be coldly rational when making financial decisions. Reasonable is more realistic, and you have a better chance of sticking with it for the long run, which is what matters most when managing money. Long-term financial planning is essential, but things change, both the world around you and your own goals and desires. Independence has always been my personal financial goal. I mostly just want to wake up every day knowing my family and I can do whatever we want to do on our own terms. Every financial decision we make revolves around that goal. Implement your plan with diligence, intentionality, and wisdom. Proverbs 17:24 reads, "A discerning person keeps wisdom in view." And from Proverbs 13:20, "The desires of the diligent are fully satisfied." And from Ecclesiastes 7:12 in the NASB, "For wisdom is protection, just as money is protection. But the advantage of knowledge is that wisdom preserves the lives of its possessors." And from Proverbs 3:21, "My son, do not let wisdom and understanding out of your sight. Preserve sound judgment and discretion." And finally, from Matthew 11:19, "But wisdom is proved right by her actions." Sensible money management. Jonathan Clements, in his book, The Little Book of Main Street Money, says, "Markets are rational, but humans are not." Sensible money management is pretty straightforward. Keep debt low, save regularly, have an emergency fund, hold down costs, buy a few broad-based mutual funds, control risk through asset allocation, and hold down taxes. Before you make any financial decisions, you should first consider a number of factors to include your risk tolerance, your goals, your income, the size of your nest egg, and your tax bracket. Our plan should focus on things we can control. We cannot control the inflation rate, bond yields, and the direction of the stock market, but we can control how we spend and save, how much we pay in investment costs and taxes, and how much investment risk we take on by diversification and asset allocation, and how we react to market highs and lows. Every financial decision comes with a trade-off. Within reason, our financial choices aren't bad if they match our values, but they are indeed choices. Sensible money management. The late Jack Bogle writes, "When it comes to investing, the amount invested, the length of time that an investment is made, in conjunction with the rate of return that it earns, ultimately determines your wealth accumulation. It is impossible to overstate the critical role of diversification to decrease investment risk in an intelligent investment program. Intelligent investors try to separate emotion from reason and trust in reason to prevail over the long term." William J. Bernstein asks, "Will you be able to self-direct your financial life, or will you need the help of an advisor? The only real guidance you need is in two distinct areas. One, your asset allocation, and two, your self-discipline. If you have a firm handle on your risk tolerance, you are well on your way to self-directing." A written financial plan and investment policy statement. Having a written financial plan or an investment policy statement may help you become 5 times wealthier than the average saver for retirement without a written plan. This is according to Paul Merriman, founder of the Merriman Financial Education Foundation. Only 35% of retirees have a written plan for their future finances. Those who fail to plan to fail. Kathleen Coxwell writes, an investment policy statement is a document that is meant to define 1, your goals for your investments, 2, strategies for achieving those objectives, 3, a framework for making intelligent changes to your investments, and 4, options for what to do if things don't go as expected. Your investment policy statement. Ben Carlson writes, the investment policy statement is where you write down all your do's and don'ts, your if and then statements, and your goals and objectives. If your plan of attack that guides your actions. It's a written document that outlines how you would like to implement your portfolio and maintain it over time. Passive, systematic, repeatable investment strategies are the best option for a majority of investors. You have a higher probability of success with index funds and ETFs than you do of trying to choose the small number of active funds that consistently outperform. Ben Carlson also writes in his Wealth of Common Sense, Why Simplicity Trumps Complexity in Any Investment Plan. An investment philosophy is simply a set of principles that will guide your actions when making portfolio decisions. It's your core beliefs. If you want to be a successful investor, the first step involves defining your core beliefs. These beliefs should guide all subsequent portfolio management decisions. Your investment plan should be designed specifically for the end user, you. Build the one you know you will follow. You have to be brutally honest with yourself about your ability to handle risk. Nothing is permanent until you make it so. You can make minor changes along the way if you determine, after a cycle of fear and greed, that you don't have the right asset allocation in place. Your financial plan investment policy statement includes identifying your resources, needs, and goals, assessing your time horizon for each financial goal, understanding your risk tolerance and having a plan for market crashes, establishing an age-appropriate asset allocation and modified to more bonds as you approach the time the money is to be used. How often you will check your portfolio and what tools you will use, and how often you will rebalance your portfolio. A God-honoring financial plan will also address how you go about your work, how we are steward of God's gifts, how are we going to determine an offering to the Lord, how we are going to track our monthly cash flow, how we are going to address our debt, what our financial goals are, and how we are, with the help of God, going to meet them. What types of investment vehicles and funds are we going to use for our investments? And what types of insurance coverage are we going to have? A comprehensive investment plan. Ben Carlson writes, "For investors, it all comes down to creating a comprehensive investment plan. Your plan should include your investment philosophy, asset allocation, a rebalancing schedule, what kinds of investments will or won't make, and so on. A plan allows you to utilize a portfolio to control your behavior to achieve your financial objectives. There is a sure way to fail, never to implement a plan in the first place. Since successful investing comes down to more to your reactions than to your actions, preparing yourself for anything is the best form of planning. It's the repetition of good decisions that leads to favorable outcomes over time. Good investors have a high tolerance for repetition, even when it requires doing nothing over and over again." A comprehensive investment plan. Charles D. Ellis writes, "Getting it right on investment policy, with or without a professional advisor, is up to the investor. After all, it's your money. You know the most about your overall financial and investment situation, your earning power, your ability to save, when you plan to retire, your obligations for your children's educational expenses, the likely timing and scale of needs for spendable funds, and how you feel about the disciplines of investing. Only you can know your own tolerance for changes in market prices, particularly at market extremes when the pressures for change are the strongest. So it's your responsibility to know who you really are as an investor and what you really want." Plan for when things don't go according to plan. Morgan Housel says, "Planning is important, but the most important part of every plan is to plan on the plan not going according to plan. A plan is only useful if it can survive reality. A future filled with unknowns is everyone's reality. The idea that a few things account for most results is not just true for companies in your investment portfolio. It's also an important part of your own behavior as an investor." A God-honoring financial plan. In order for your financial plan to succeed, you must execute the plan with diligence and trust God to bless your plan. From Hebrews 6:11 we read, "We want each of you to show this same diligence to the very end, so that what you hope for may be fully realized." And from Hebrews 10:36, "You need to persevere so that when you have done the will of God, you will receive what it has promised." And from Proverbs 16:4 we read, "The Lord works out everything to its proper end." And from Jeremiah 32:42, "This is what the Lord says, I will give them all the prosperity I have promised them." And finally, from Job 21:16, "Financial independence equals their prosperity is not in their own hands." Conclusion. Place God in the heart of your financial plan. Work closely with your spouse to design and implement your financial plan. Know your savings goals. By knowing your goal and the time horizon of the need for the money, you can make a wise choice in what type of savings or investing vehicle to use. We must implement our financial plan with diligence, intentionality, wisdom, and discernment. Jonathan Clements writes, sensible money management is pretty much straightforward. Keep debt low, save regularly, have an emergency fund, hold down costs, buy a few broad-based mutual funds, control risk through asset allocation, and hold down taxes. While Paul Merriman says, having a written financial plan or an investment policy statement may help you become 5 times wealthier than the average saver for retirement without a written plan. God is at the heart of the faithful fulfilling of any financial plan, what I call financial independence. Their prosperity is not in their own hands. Job 21:16. Action steps. Do you have a written financial plan? If not, work with your spouse over the next couple of weeks to write and define your family financial plan. If you already have a written financial plan, sit down and reread it and make any changes that are suitable. Action step number 2. When you write your personal family financial plan, use the information provided to refine and direct your plan. If you are working with an advisor, some of your financial plan probably should be done in conjunction with your advisor, or at least be used to judge the effectiveness of your advisor's advice and actions.